Hello, I'm Laura Broggi. Thank you for joining me today. Let's start mountain pose with our hands facing forward, standing up perfectly straight. We'll just center ourselves before we start. Today we're going to be releasing the IT band area. So the IT band is actually a very thick band of connective tissue that runs from your hip down to your knee. So because this is connective tissue, we can't actually stretch the band that much, and we wouldn't want it to because it does support our leg. But we will be working on the muscles surrounding that area, so a lot of the outer leg and hip, and then also the quads, hamstrings, and some inner groin, because that is all connected. So we'll get some release for any pain you might have in the hip, and also it can cause knee pain if it's tight in that area. Okay, so let's cross our right foot over our left and lift our arms up and grab your left wrist with your right hand and lean over to the right side. And this will give you a nice side stretch, and then you'll be able to feel this in the hip flexor as well. So let's inhale, lean up, and then exhale, stretch more over to the right. It should feel really good. I always love a good side stretch. Just a little more, and then we'll come back to center and switch the crossing of our feet, so the left foot over the right. Then we'll reach our arms up and grab the right wrist with the left hand. Inhale up and then exhale over towards the left. To really stretch up and over, so you get a whole nice side body stretch and the front of the hip stretch. Okay, inhale back to center. And then keeping our feet the way they are, go ahead and lean forward. If you need blocks, you might need that if you can't reach the floor. So lift and then release down, exhale. And you'll feel a really nice outer hip stretch with this. So we'll just hold this for about 5 breaths. Just inhaling, flatter back, and then exhaling, forward fold a little more. Then inhale, flat back, and then let's switch feet. So we'll put the right foot back over the left, keeping your pinky toes in line. And then let's stretch forward again on this side. And it's perfectly normal to feel tighter on one side than the other. So we're trying to balance that out a little bit more with these stretches. Okay, let's inhale, flat back, uncross the feet. Then we'll bring our right foot back about 3 feet and have your back foot at a 45-degree angle, left foot straight forward. And then inhale, flat back, and then exhale over straight legs. So we'll get a nice hamstring stretch here over that left leg. And it's not important to get your face all the way to your leg. It's just important that you feel a nice good stretch here. Maybe start to pull a little bit back on the heel of your front foot to get a little more engagement in that hamstring. And then inhale, flat back. And then we're going to rotate this. So if you might need a block here, bring your right hand on the inside or outside of the front foot and twist your left arm up to the sky, rotating your chest open towards the left. So this is an excellent outer hip stretch for that left hip. And you can look at the ground, the side, or up, wherever works for you or your neck. Okay, and then exhale back down. Then we'll switch legs. So the left foot back about 3 feet at a 45-degree angle, front foot straight ahead. And then we'll fold over that front leg and get a nice hamstring stretch on the right side. Then we'll come up to a flat back, and then we'll rotate our left hand either to the floor or block, and then rotate your right arm up and twist your chest open to the right side. Keeping those legs straight, looking wherever you can. If you need a little more balance, look down and feel the nice opening of the outside of the hip and leg. Okay, let's come back to center, and then let's stretch our left leg back and come down to our knee. And you can, if you have a strap, you might need that here, but if you can, grab that left foot with your right hand, keeping your left hand on the floor, and then twist open to the right. And really try to pull that foot in to get a nice quad stretch here. And you don't want to be on your kneecap, you want to be on top of your kneecap, so there's no pain. So if you need to rotate a little bit more onto the upper thigh, please do so. Just feel that nice opening of the front of the thigh on the left leg. And then release. And then we'll switch sides. So we'll bring the left foot up, stretch the right leg back, grab that right foot with the left hand or strap, and then twist your chest open and pull that foot in towards your glutes to get a nice quad stretch on this side. And then gently release. Let's come into down dog briefly, just to stretch it out. Okay, let's lift the right leg up and bring it all the way across the body, and your right foot should be in line with your hands. And then we'll come down on that right hip and keep that left foot engaged and flexed. And you can come down on your forearms or all the way down if you'd prefer. But this is a nice outer hip stretch here and outer thigh. Try to keep your hips as rotated towards the ground as you can to really get a good stretch here. And keep that back leg activated and your right foot flexed. Just a little bit longer. Okay, let's stay on this leg and come into a pigeon. So your right leg, your shin will be semi-parallel with the front of the mat. Just make sure your right knee is outside your right hip and your left leg is still stretching back. And you can inhale, lift, and then exhale, fold over that right leg. Now my leg is not very parallel with the front of the mat, but if your hips are a little more open, you might be able to have that happen. So we're going to hold these stretches for about 10 breaths so we really get in there and get that nice hip and outer leg stretch. So breathe into it. We don't want to force our body into any position. We want to allow it to open and relax. Okay, from here, we're going to rotate onto the right hip and then bring your left leg around so both shins are parallel with the front of the mat. If you're a little more flexible, you can bring your left shin on top of your right. Just make sure your feet are flexed to protect the knee. So you can stay here, or if you'd like to fold forward, you'll feel it a little bit more. So stretch your arms out in front if you're folding forward. If you have a big gap between the legs and you have your legs stacked, please put the left leg in front of the right. We want to make sure to keep our knees safe in these positions. And then breathe into this. This will give you a nice lower back stretch as well. Okay, let's slowly walk up, and then we're going to keep on this side and just bring the left leg all the way over the right so the knees are in line as much as possible. You may need to sit on a blanket or block here if this is not comfortable. If you'd like a little more, you can bring your feet out so your legs are more parallel with the front of the mat, or if they're closer to your hips, that's a little less intense. And you can also sit up here, or if you'd like to lean forward, that'll get you a little more sensation, especially in that outer hip. And then lean forward and breathe into this. So remember, you should feel sensation, but it shouldn't be too much. You should be able to stay here for the full 10 breaths without struggling. So if you are, please back out of the pose and make modifications. Okay, let's slowly come up and unwind. So let's come into down dog briefly, just to stretch it out and notice the difference between the right and the left side. So we'll do everything on the left. So lift the left leg up and bring it all the way across the body so the foot is in line with the hands. Come down on the left hip, and you can come onto your forearms or all the way down. But let's keep the back leg straight and engaged, your foot flexed, and also your left foot engaged and flexed. And just feel that nice sensation. Okay, let's slowly come up and come into pigeon with the left leg in front. So as parallel as you can get with that front shin. Back leg is straight behind you. And let's lift up and then fold over that left leg. Maybe more comfortable to rest your head on a block here. I like to rest on my hands. And breathe. And if any of these are uncomfortable for your knees, you can do, especially pigeon, you can do a figure 4 on your back. And it would be the same hip stretch, it would just be much gentler on your knees. Okay, let's make our way up and then rotate onto the left hip and swing that right leg around. So you can either have your right shin in front of the left or stack the right shin on top. Just make sure there's not too much of a gap there and it feels okay for your knees. And then either stay straight up or lean forward to intensify the stretch. Just keep your feet engaged here, flexed, to keep your knees safe. Okay, let's slowly come up and then we'll bring the right leg all the way on top of the left, trying to keep your knees stacked. If you need to sit up on a block or that blanket, please do. And adjust your feet according to the intensity you'd like here. And then either sit up straight or go ahead and lean forward and relax into it. Okay, let's slowly come up and unwind. Let's straighten our legs out, shake them out a little bit. Then here, we're going to sit up straight, so go ahead and push down in your hands just to get a nice length in your back. And then you may need your strap here. We'll take our right hand and grab our left foot, lift the left foot up, and then have the left arm out and try to look back towards that left hand. So this is a nice staff pose that's twisted. So this is a great stretch for that outer IT band area as well. Just make sure your back is straight and keep your foot straight out in front of you and release. Okay, let's move to the other side. So the left foot will grab the right, and then we will twist to the right, right arm back, right leg straight, lift up, straight back. And gently release. Good job. Okay, we're going to do one more stretch here. So let's bring the soles of the feet together, knees wide, and lift up, inhale, and then exhale, fold over the feet to get an inner groin stretch and a low back stretch. So we'll hold this one for about 10 breaths to really get into the inner thighs. And again, you don't need to get your face close to the ground here. The more important thing is the sensations you're feeling. In all these seated poses, it might be a good idea if you have a blanket or a block handy just to prop yourself up a little more if it's a little too intense. Maybe you can get a little deeper. Don't force, just allow it to open. And slowly come up. All right, let's make our way to our back. Bring the knees into the chest and rock side to side. Bring your forehead to your knees and then stretch out for Shavasana. So you can take as much time as you like here just to unwind from our practice. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.